All right, here we go. And today I'm presenting about end-to-end contract automation with Power Automate. And this is a Microsoft 365 Fully Virtual 2020. And there are 3 or 4 sessions going on parallel. And if you are not in like end-to-end contract automation with Power Automate, you can go to another session. Otherwise, we will learn something in this session. And about myself, I'm Nabin Pokharel, currently in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I work as a software engineer at Insight Enterprise, and I'm part of productivity application services at Insight. And mostly I work on Office 365 applications such as SharePoint, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. And if you want to connect with me, you can connect me through Twitter at O365 Nabin, or you can search me in LinkedIn with the O365 Nabin. And today, I will be showing you the showcase of like creation of contract with dynamic content. And once the contract is generated, then it needs to be sent to the client or any other party. So we will send that and get the digital signature. And once the document is signed, then we will store it in the repository. And this is the old document. Like this is the old document. Like it is the previous contract before the automation process. So it was an old template. And how I did is like I break the contract into multiple parts, basically based on static part and dynamic part. If we see over here, everything on the top part is same for all client except like between a client and awesome technology. So this demo is based on like company awesome technology. That is technology vendor, and it provides service on different Office 365 applications such as Microsoft Forms, Power Apps, and so on. So it will be between client, whoever the client is, and awesome technology. Over here, client, awesome technology. And based on the selection, they feel like whichever technology they need help with. If they need help with Microsoft Forms, then Microsoft Forms and its details is populated. If they select all the technology, then we will see all these contents in the contract form. And another part is like the rectangular one, that is also pretty much static. That's same for everything. And the last part, this is dynamic. So it will have like service hours based on how many service hour client needs and total cost of that hours. And this is without the signature. And once the automation is there, we will see signature at the bottom. And how did we come up with this idea? Basically, one of our user was using old template to a contract, and based on client's selection of technologies, the person has to manually delete, like manually remove some section that is not applicable to client, and send it to client through email, and get the signature in the document and store it into the company repository. And then we thought that process through our platform view, and we came up with the automation of this contract generation process. And earlier, the communication was through email, and after the automation, there is email, but it in an automated way. A lot more manual steps in the previous process were replaced with Power Platform, like different components, and we will see what are those components. And this contract is based on like a demo company, not real, but use case we did was similar in different scenario, and you can implement it in your scenario by learning something from this. The applications I have used in this solution is Microsoft Form, SharePoint, OneDrive, Outlook, Power Automate, Adobe Sign, O2 HTML converter. So mostly from Microsoft Forms to Power Automate, those comes with a bundle of Office 365. And Adobe Sign, we need to get Adobe Sign license separately. And O2 HTML converter, this is a website. So I will go into the details of these applications roles into the overall solution. Let's go into the design document or design diagram. It starts from Microsoft Forms. What happens is, like on the left of this pink line, the action will be taken by client, and of the right side, it will be taken by the system, solution, or the vendor. So basically, these two are taken by a client, and all these things is by the vendor, or basically awesome technology. I just name it awesome. When the client fill out the form, the form includes their information such as technologies they are interested in, hours they needed, their email address, company name, and so on. Then the data will be stored in SharePoint. SharePoint is basically the repository over here. And if we see the logo on top of each action, the respective technologies logo is there. Like this is for Forms, this is for SharePoint, another for OneDrive, Adobe Sign over here, and Outlook over here. And we can see Power Automate over here. So where we are in SharePoint step. So basically, we store Forms data into SharePoint at first. When those data are stored in SharePoint, then it will be passed to OneDrive. And in OneDrive, first we create HTML document or HTML contract or contract in HTML file format, and later we convert that HTML file type into PDF. At this stage, PDF contract document is ready. So next is we have to send it to client, and we are doing that through Adobe Sign. So basically we are sending that document to Adobe Sign with required information, and Adobe Sign will take care of the document. So basically it sends to the client who needs to do the signature, and they receive notification, and they have to take action to the PDF document. Once they signed, or once they denied or they cancel to sign, then it will be sent back to the SharePoint. If denied, it will just update the status in SharePoint. If it is signed, then we need to move that signed document into SharePoint. As SharePoint is a repository, and if we need to take a look at the document later, then we can just go into SharePoint. And once it come back into SharePoint, then the owner of the document will be notified that the document has been signed or it has been denied, and the process ends here. And if we see here, everything is inside this rectangular box, and Power Automate is outside. This is because Power Automate is what that binds all other applications together. Basically, it is integrating all other smaller or other independent processes and create a big useful solution out of it. And if you have any questions, let me check just a moment. Okay, let me check. So far, there is no questions, so I will continue with my presentation. And if you have any questions, then you can type in the Q&A session and send it to me, and I will check the questions time to time, so that way you will get the answers. Let me go. Okay, we are here. No questions, so let me move forward. What I'm going to do is I'm trying to explain like what different applications role is in this particular solution. So the process starts from Microsoft Forms, and Microsoft Forms, it is just the input of data, and there's input of records from client that is needed to be in the contract. And if there are some other information that we need, but that does not need to be in contract, then we can ask to the client. So that way we will have all the required information stored, and we can go over that whenever we need. And client also pick up what technologies they are interested in, and also they can enter how many hours of support they need. So basically, these are the major functionalities we are using Forms in this particular solution. Forms does much more than here. This is the picture of Form screenshot, and this is a simple, not much question. The first one is full name, like name of the person that is entering the information, and first line is like title, and second is description. So in description, we can tell the purpose of that particular field, and title of the person, and name of your organization. Basically, this will be the client, and email address. Email address is important because the communication that is taking place between client and the owner or the vendor is through email, but it is automated. And phone number is not required, and all the field with red asterisks are required, so that needs to be filled, otherwise we cannot submit the form. And selected technologies are critical part of contract. So if they need help with forms, Power Apps, Power Automate, or any other thing, they can just select. So whichever technologies they select, then those technologies and its details will be populated in contract document. And hours of needed, this is also important field. as it determines the total price and total hours for the resource. And at the end, we can see confirmation of agreement. This is like consent. And once they fill up the information, and the normal rules for like making some fields required is like, if it has some like a critical role in the business process, make it required. Or like if that field is not the field, or if that field is empty, then we need to do the data validation later in Power Automate. And this is all for forms. And next is SharePoint. SharePoint is just a repository of forms data. And another is, there are multiple document libraries, one for unsigned documents and another for signed document library. So that way, when PDF is created, we store that into unsigned before sending it to the client. And once we send that document to client and it is signed, then we can store that into signed document library. And all the technologies details are also like stored in SharePoint, such as Teams and its details, Amber and its details, SharePoint and its details. Not only its details in text field, I stored that details into HTML format. So that way, I can just drag those HTML contents and use it to create HTML document later. We will go over that during the demo later. And another good part of using SharePoint is the forms data are stored in SharePoint list. So that, and I have created another column in the document libraries that's called status. So if it is, if the PDF is created, then it will be like contract created. And if it is sent for a client, then the status will be sent for signature. If the client signed, then it has been signed. And if it is declined, then the status is canceled. So that way, a SharePoint list keeps track of status and kind of a simple reporting thing. Another is OneDrive. I use OneDrive just for its connector, basically two of the connector. One is to create HTML document. We can create HTML document easily in OneDrive. And another is the created HTML document. If we need to convert that into any other file type, then we can use OneDrive connector for that. That's the main purpose. And you can say, oh, you have used SharePoint, why you again use OneDrive? So that is the reason. Just for those two connectors, I use OneDrive. And those are critical in this solution. Next is Adobe Sign. Adobe Sign is not Microsoft product, and this is used for getting digital signature from client. Or if we need to do the digital signature from vendor side, we can use Adobe Sign. And it is well integrated with Power Platform. So that way, it is very easy to use Adobe Sign to automate the process. And so far, I have found Adobe Sign is only standard connector for digital signature in Power Automate. And all other digital signature applications such as DocuSign, HelloSign, those are premium. And that means if we need to use them, we have to pay whatever their license, and we also need to upgrade standard license to like we need to have premium license for Power Automate in order to use those. And Adobe Sign has also takes a reminder and any other things by itself, so we don't have to go into details and take control of very small task. So it takes care by Adobe Sign. And one of the thing is like we need to know is some of the company might be using Adobe Sign for getting digital signature, but that may not be used directly. That particular license may not be directly used into Power Automate. The reason is you need to have at least enterprise license to use that in Power Automate. Otherwise, while authenticating Adobe Sign connector in Flow, then it gives an error. So that's good to note. And another is, let's go, what to HTML converter. I just Google it and like I found O2HTML.net, and where I have done is converting plain Word document file, not file, the contents into HTML. It's a manual process. What I did is I convert Word contract contents into HTML using this website and store those information into SharePoint. So whenever I need that, use it directly from SharePoint. That helps to automate the process. And how does it look like? This is the screenshot of O2HTML.net. So basically on the left side, I just copied from Word and paste it on the left side. And it automatically converts that into HTML. I know there's much more, like there might be some unnecessary thing over there, but like it does the job. So paste it on the left side, it will be converted into HTML, and I copy the HTML code and paste it into SharePoint and use that later. And Outlook. In this particular solution, Outlook is used to send notification email or any other reminder email, or if we need to send any of the communication, then we have used Outlook, and not much. Next is demo. Okay, let me check. Have any questions? I haven't seen any questions so far, so let me move forward. And if you have any questions, yeah, you can just ask it here, and I will check time and again, and we'll answer that. Okay, this is the same design document. Everything starts with form. Let's go over that. This is form that I showed you earlier, and client will fill up the information in this form. And this is the beginning of the process. Let's start. So what we can say, Nabin, and title. Presenter, name of the organization is M365 Philly, and email address is important. Okay, then I will give my email address. Otherwise, I will not receive any email. Phone number, just the phone number. Let me select this. Okay, let's leave Amber for now. So what happens is like in the contract, I'll get the details about these top technologies and its details. And hours needed, we need more hours. We need around 50 hours. Now, here, and like there is some kind of validation in the form. So it says like the bulk starts from 10 to 25, 25 to 50, and 50 plus. So I will put 50, and this is the consent form. And let me check the email address. Yep, right. Everything is filled. Submit. Okay. And in forms, we can customize the confirmation over here. So I provided email. So if they have any information, then they can contact me in this email. So next process is SharePoint. If you go into the design, next is SharePoint. Here, let me go how many lists. This is the list. Basically, this SharePoint list is repository for all forms data. All those. Let me check. Yeah, it's in the way. We can search it. And while waiting, we can do is another document libraries for unsigned document. So basically this one is document and contract ID. The contract ID creates relation between this particular PDF document and the SharePoint list where forms data is stored. So that way I can come to this document from that SharePoint list. There is client email. If I store it here, then I can pass this information later. Later in the process, it makes the process much easier. And signed documents is stored here. Once it is signed by client, then it will be stored in this. We don't need any information about like client email and contract ID here. Awesome technology details. So as I said earlier, I use Word document and convert it into here. Let me do it here. So, and what it does is if I make it bold, then it will convert it into HTML. So I copied content from Word document and it will generate HTML content. And I'm storing that HTML content in this particular column. So forms, and forms description is this, and forms description in HTML is this. So I can use HTML contents directly instead of using description. And another good part is if we need to change description of forms, then we can just come into this SharePoint list and change the description. We don't have to change any of the things in Flow. Same for Power Apps and all other technologies over here. And this is for contract top, bottom, and all those things. Earlier I showed you I break it into the top static part, dynamic part, and basically this top is static. Then it goes technology, selected technologies over here, then bottom, and the last part is this. Okay, if we go here, and I think we have taken a long time, so it's over here. We can check the status. It is sent for signature. What happens is like once it is created, the status will be new, and without any action, it will be converted into PDF generated once PDF file is ready. And once PDF file is ready and sent to client for signature, then the status will be sent for signature. If we click on here, these are information from forms, and there's unsigned PDF URL. So this is the URL of this document. So if we, yeah, if we go to this URL, this is the document. And once that document is signed, that particular URL will be stored here. So from this particular document library, we can go to signed and unsigned both document. And once that document is signed, it will move the status to signed. Okay, that one, and let's go to unsigned document. Here we see about a minute ago that contract is generated. Let's take a look. Okay, this is a heading, and it says entire document is between M365 Philly and Awesome Technology. So this is the data from Microsoft Forms. And this, and let's see what technologies are there. Power Apps, Forms, everything, and no Ammer. Yeah, we don't see Ammer on this section. If we have selected Ammer, then it should be here. And these are static things. And another is we selected 50 hours. And the cost for 50 hours is 50/50. Here, PDF is created, and next step is this needs to be sent to client for signature. I have already received email. Let me show you that. Okay, here yeah, we received this kind of email from Adobe Sign. We don't have much control into this. This is a standard template. And what other option we have here is delegate, and this is the title. And I use developer license for Adobe Sign, so it says like demo use only. It added this thing. And if I have to sign, then I can go it over here. Okay, yeah, review and sign. Here we go. There's a message. The message pre-review this is this, and we can provide information for the signature. If you click here, it will go to the next required field. That's the signature. And other options is here, read agreement. If we are not signing right now, then we can just read the agreement with first option. If we want to delegate this signing process to someone else, we can go with the second option. And if we decline to sign, then click on this one and clear document data. In contract, there might be 4, 5 fields or many more that needs to be filled. And like, oh, if I did mistake, we can clear document data and go to the reset. And if I need to sign, just click here. Oh, I don't like this sign. So what I can do is I want to type. We have option of whether we want to type or draw. We can just draw here or image. Even we can send this to mobile. So that way we can type or we can do signature from mobile. Basically, the option is similar. Let me type for now. Apply and click to sign. Now the document is signed. What is the next process? Okay, it is showing, yeah, I have signed the document. And it sends the same notification to the owner of the contract, so they know, oh, document has been signed. It takes a couple of minutes to be in signed document repository. And as we go here, this, and we just did this step. So it will be stored in SharePoint and send the email notification. Let's check it out. What's happened? Oh, we got one of the service contract is signed by client. Oh, it has been signed. Let's see if it is updated or not. No? Oh, here it is, sorry. Let's check it out. Here, as I say, like I use the developer license for Adobe Sign. That's why it is just for testing purpose. So it uses its signature thing. And if you use full license, then it won't be there. Here, Philly and everything. And it added the signature over here, signature date and time, we can see. Yeah. Along with the signature, there is name of the person and date and time it has signed. So in this particular contract, I just get signature from client, not from vendor. If we add another step, then that's very easy to add. Okay, and let's go and check if we have any questions at this moment. Here, Q&A. Yeah, I don't see any questions, so I will move forward with the presentation. Let me go with the demo, and yeah, I'm sorry, like I'm switching between presentation, cancel that, and again present the slide. It's kind of confusing. I hope you are not irritated by that. Okay, next is let's go deep into the Power Automate. Power Automate is what it binds all applications together and give a whole solution, basically automate whole process. And I have used two Power Automate, basically two flow or two Power Automates for this solution. First one is forms to SharePoint. What it does is once user fill up the information in forms, then Power Automate will get that data, store it in SharePoint, and it triggers when form is filled. And when those data is stored, then it will send those information to OneDrive and create PDF document and again store it in SharePoint. Then Power Automate number 2 takes place. When PDF file is created in SharePoint, second Power Automate triggers. Then it upload it into then it is uploaded into Adobe Sign, and Adobe Sign will take care of digital signature. And once it is signed, then it is stored in SharePoint. Then, okay, before going to tips, let me go back to the Power Automate and show you. Okay, my flow, flow number 1. Okay, first action is when the response is submitted. This is the trigger. And next step is these are different variables that is needed. And what I can do is I bundle each action based on the functionality and store that in scope wise. So it will be easier for me. So this is a particular scope, store forms data into SharePoint. So what it does when it is this. And one of the hard part is when form has multiple select field, it's not easy to store in SharePoint. We can store that directly in SharePoint. So what we have to do is we have to parse that value. Okay. Come on, hover over. Yep. Replacing something, we have to parse that value and with just comma. Clean up everything except comma, and then split that. And the splitted is array. So what we have to do is, for each selected item, we are appending that into array variable. So what it does is, like, we need to make it like array of objects, so what we can do is, this is object, JSON object, and this is the item. If it was power f, then value equals to power f. So that way, this array consists of object where value is like power f's or power f's and other selected technologies. Why we did that? So that way, in selected technologies, we can use the array variable directly. So we can store it. And when that item is stored in SharePoint, what we have to do is create item in SharePoint, title, contract name, client organization, email address, phone number, hours needed, confirmation, and status is new. So that way it will take care of storing forms data into SharePoint. Next is get the items details and contract, and select contract from SharePoint. Calculating total cost. What I'm doing is, since flow restrict to numbers for number of hours, that is number value, but it's still in string. So we need to pass that into integer. I convert that hours into integer and check. If it is between 10 and 25, multiply that with sort of 125, and that will be the total price stored in variable total price. It is something else. If it is between 25 and 50, hourly rate is 115 per hour. If else, then hourly rate is 101. So 50 is less than this. Okay, I think it should be this one. So it is 50-50. Here we go. We calculate total hours, and this apply to each. What it is doing is, from this SharePoint list, it checks for each selected item. It will go to the list and check if it is forms, then get this HTML content. If power apps is there, append it over there, and it is getting details of that selected technologies. What we can do is, I have used filter. What I'm doing is, get all the items from some technologies details SharePoint list. If title equals power apps, then it will get power apps. If it is Teams, get Teams. And all this process, it is basically getting all the selected technologies HTML contains. Another is prepare to, okay, we don't have much time. Okay, let me take a little bit faster pace. Okay, what I did is contract top. I just pasted the HTML content of contract top part and client organization. Let's see here. And it was replaced by, do we see like client and awesome technologies. So this is like name of M365 Philly. It is over here, and bottom part it is getting from SharePoint, and selected technologies, this is the array variable, and contract cost also. This is the bottom table in our contract. And we have to replace the HTML value with hours and variable total price. So that particular table will have both. And let me check with signed document, and so I'm 365 Philly. Here we go. Here, yeah, we are replacing this hours and price in the HTML, and we are replacing this. Once we get that information, what we need to do is, I have used create HTML, create file in OneDrive, create file action in OneDrive. So that means we need to select path where we are creating that document, HTML document, which file name we want to give, and we have to open .html, otherwise it will be corrupted. And file content. So basically, in previous steps, set variable. I concatenate all the individual parts of contract into single string, and it is in HTML. So I use the same HTML string to create a file. And once that HTML file is created, I use convert file using path connector action, where I have to put the path that is output from this step, path from this step, and target is PDF. We are converting it into PDF. If we are changing it into something else, we can select there. At this stage, PDF file is created. Then we need to store that into SharePoint. Just pass that file name and file content into unsigned documents. Then this is okay. And I'm almost done, and it takes process. And let me go back and show another flow quickly. Here, when that PDF document is created in unsigned list, it will be uploaded into Adobe Sign. And that is, we have to upload it, and next step is we have to create an agreement from an uploaded document and send for signature. Here, and this is document ID, file name, and document ID and email address. Here it is, and we can select what role order. There are multiple. First person to sign is this number 1, that is signer, and this is the message. We can do days to decline deadline of this document, and weekly until signed. This is for reminder and other stuff. We don't have to use much. And this do until will check. Oh, check every hour, like, or every day. We can set the limit when. It checks every minute if the document is signed or not. Basically, when we upload and send for user for signature, the status is out for signature. So I check, oh, is it still in out for signature? If not, then it's completed. Otherwise, it will loop over here. And if it is signed, then what it does is get the signed document and store it in SharePoint. If it is not signed, then just update the status in SharePoint and send the email notification that it is not signed. Basically, this is details in the Power Automate. And if you have any questions, let me know. Let me share this, our sponsors. And in the meantime, what I can do is I will check if we have any questions. Yep, I don't see any questions over here. And thank you everyone for your time. I hope we learned something from this session, and feel free to contact me or get in touch with me if you have any questions or you want to just get connected. Thank you everyone.